Hello, algebra students. Welcome back to Mr. Fernand's algebra class. Today we are going to talk about a very important concept that is used a lot, not only in this chapter, but the next chapter also. We've done it a little bit, but to kind of make things go a little better, I thought we would review it. And that is solving for y. So most of the equations we work with from this point on will have two variables in them, and those will generally be x and y. But in order to create a table of values, input-output table, what we do is we usually solve for y first so that it's easy to input for x and get an output y right away. So let's go through some examples of solving for y. So the first example here, okay, we want to get y by itself, so we have to get rid of 3x. So how do we get rid of 3x? Well, what I would do here is I would go ahead and subtract 3x. But on the other side, I have a 12. So can I subtract 3x from 12? No. So I scoot it over. They're not like terms, so they cannot be combined. So what I do now is I bring down the y equals. When I write this side, I always want to write it the x term first and the constant second. So I bring down my negative 3x, and then since 12 is positive, I would go ahead and add 12. And this is how we have y by itself. Okay, next example. I have to get rid of the y, and I have to get rid of this negative. I always undo addition and subtraction first. So, how do I get rid of this negative 5x? Well, it's linked to the y by some form of addition or subtraction. Since it's negative, I would go ahead and add it. Again, I cannot add it to the 12, so I scoot it over. Add the 5x. These are no longer on the left side, but I have to bring down this negative y equals, now I bring down the 5x, and then the plus 12. Remember, you can only combine like terms. Now the y still has that negative in front of it. Picture that as being a negative 1. Well, if I had any equation where I had to solve for y and I had to get rid of this negative 1, since it's leaked by multiplication, I divide it by negative 1. But notice, when I divide by negative 1, I divide everything by negative 1, and I get y equals 5 divided by negative 1, negative 5x. 12 divided by negative 1 is negative 12. So the signs on both of these terms change when we divide by negative 1. Next example. In this example, I have to get rid of two things also, 6x and 3. You'll notice once you do a couple of these problems, the process is basically the same. So, how do I get rid of 6x? I subtract it. Can I line it up under 18? No, so I scoot it over. So, I bring down my 3y equals, now, I bring this negative 6x down, plus 18. So what do I do to get rid of this 3? Since it's linked by multiplication, I divide everything in the equation by 3. And I end up with y equals negative 2x plus 6. And now we have y by itself. Number 4. When I look at this one, again, two variables to get rid of, same process, doesn't change. How do I get rid of 3x? Since it's positive, I subtract it. Cannot line it up under the 8, so I scoot it over. Now I bring down my 4y equals, write the x term first, so negative 3x plus 8. Now I'm going to go ahead and divide everything by 4. Now when I look here, alright, I have my y equals, this is a fraction that can't simplify, so keep it in fraction form if it cannot be simplified. Do not change it to a decimal. So it's negative 3/4 x. Then 8 over 4 will simplify to 2. And that is what it would look like. You'll really see where this is important, probably middle of the chapter, of the next chapter. So the next one, I go ahead and I subtract 3x. I bring down my negative 5y equals negative 3x plus 12. But now I have to go and divide everything by negative 5. y is all by itself, equals this fraction here. Although 3 is not divisible by 5, you have to see that you have a negative divided by a negative. So although we're going to keep it in fraction form, a negative divided by a negative turns into a positive. So we're going to write positive 3/5 x plus, the next one I have is 12 divided by negative 5. That fraction cannot be reduced. Do not change it to mixed numbers. But a positive divided by a negative is going to be a negative, therefore I would go ahead and subtract it. And that's how we would write our final answer. Okay, pretty straightforward. Next one, to get rid of negative 6x, I would go ahead, I would add 6x, add 6x. Bring down 9y equals 6x plus 11. Then I would go ahead and divide everything by 9. Y equals 6 over 9. That fraction can be reduced. Both can be divided by 3. So you would get 2 over 3x plus, can 11 ninths be reduced? No. So you would leave it as 11 ninths. So all of these equations are in the form we call standard form, and it's changing from standard form to a form we call slope-intercept. It would be very, 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 very important towards the middle of the chapter. Now the next few, 8 and 9, especially for the next unit, will be very important. But to change it up a little bit in number 7, we change the order a little bit. So here, now we have to get, we already have the y on the left side, so we want to bring the 21 over. How would I bring the 21 over? Since it's negative, I would go ahead and add it. Can I line it up under 12x? No. So I scoot it over. Bring down my 3y, 21, gone. Bring down my 12x plus 21. Now I can go ahead and divide everything in this equation by 3. So your y equals 4x plus 7. 8 and 9, this is a form called point slope. And again, it's very important looking into the second unit. 8 unit 8b. So when I look at this, first step, I go ahead and distribute. So y minus 10 equals negative 6x. Then negative 6 times 9 is negative 54. Well, now I have to get rid of the 10. How do I get rid of it? Since it's negative, I add it. But does it have a like term on the other side? Is 6x and 10, are they like terms? No. Negative 54 and 10, are they like terms? Yes. Line them up and add or subtract them vertically. So we bring down the negative 6x, negative 54 plus 10, negative 44. So finally we have the last example here, which includes a fraction which freaks everybody out. But don't be scared of this. We bring down our y plus 6, because what do I have to do with the 2/3 first? I have to distribute. So 2/3 times x is easy. It's just 2/3 x. Now, 2/3 times negative 9. Either go ahead and multiply these in your calculator, or 2/3 times negative 9. First off, 2 times negative 9. Remember, put negative 9 over 1. 2 times negative 9 is negative 18. Over 3 times 1 is 3. And when you simplify that, you get negative 6. Well, now that I've distributed to 2/3, I have no, parentheses left, so I can go ahead and get rid of this 6. How do I get rid of it? Subtract it. Which like term do I line it up under on the right side? The negative 6. And y, these go bye-bye, equals 2/3 x, and then negative 6, remember you gotta be careful with your signs. Negative 6 minus 6 is negative 12. And we have this equation solved for y. Remember, you cannot combine like terms until you have, these parentheses gone, okay? So make sure you distribute and then get rid of this, number that's linked to y. You should have enough, examples here to get you started on the homework. Good luck.